Gemma, thank you so much for joining us. I can't tell you how excited our voice team has been, our entire team has been, knowing that you're coming. And I really appreciate your time sharing with us and, in fact, with our global audience.
Thank you, Paul, and all the European team for inviting me. And really, I'm so excited to speak for the first time internationally about my research.
Well, I have to say to that very same audience that you are a pioneer in the area of connecting and communicating to women in a very effective way. And you've also gained a lot of respect because it's focused on the fact that women are behind 80% of most sales. They're really the motor of business and purchase decisions. However, let me say also to everybody in an introductory way that, Gemma, you've been very visionary because I think you're the first person that really kept underlying to marketing and advertising people. Men and women are different, and you need to communicate to them in different ways. Can you explain maybe, the basics of that?
Well, I'm going to give you two quick tips to understand that we decide and we fall in love with brands in a different way. We women decide in a spiral way, men in the vertical way. What does that mean? That means that when we are looking for a product to buy something, we search in different places, in different stores, in different opinions, in different ways of finding what we're looking for. For instance, red trousers. So we look for an expert in fashion, a shop, a blog, whatever. When men want red trousers, they just go down at lunchtime in the soup and they get the red trousers. So that's vertical. That's one tip. So I think that knowing this, as advertisers, we will put our advertising in those different places where women look for the red trousers before buying them. But men, if they just go to the mall at lunchtime, it's only to one place to put the advertisement. So,
okay, I just want to ask you in this whole conversation also, Natalie and Jackie, let's always be respectful of men. Men, we're on and off, and it's not just about beer or sports. We're also very pragmatic with those decisions. We go for the red trousers, and that's the end of the story. So, we're talking already about e-commerce, but I think these basics are very important to keep in mind, that we really want to connect with each particular type of consumer in the correct way, right? But speaking about e-commerce, you recently have published a new study that you've done here in Spain and Catalonia. And by the way, Spain and Catalonia are right in line with EU e-commerce figures. We'll look at that in a moment. But what would be kind of a universal truth of the behavior of women across the EU, across the European continent? In terms of buying, maybe, in terms of buying behavior.
In terms of buying behavior, online and offline, I guess, both or online, basically. Well, we women, we go shopping, and you men, or they men, buy. And the difference is that we go for the experience, and everything counts. Every little detail counts, and men then just go shop the red trousers, for instance. So that's really a different itinerary, a different way of getting there. So like this, and me, Gemma, I am a woman, and sometimes I feel more on the other behavior. Sometimes I feel more vertical than spiral, and what I told before, but like we have to analyze.
Spiral.
Yeah, we have to analyze the big behaviors and then make decisions and get insights. So that's our job. And so men look for solutions, more practical, and we want to explore. We like to explore. We want to go go shopping, and maybe we don't shop what we were wanting at the beginning, and then we end up shopping another because we value the experience. We want to explore. So I would say that this is a big difference in the behavior and the way the experience has to be designed.
But it seems to me, and across the EU, here in Europe, because our podcast focuses on marketing and innovation in Europe, it seems to me too, that's another thing I saw in your study, that women are really looking for efficiency. They're looking for value, fast service. So maybe like quick ways to pay, all of those things that are very less experiential and more like down to the details. I think that also jumped out at me when I looked at your study. Would that be correct, that you could kind of extrapolate that to the rest of Europe?
Yeah. We actually we women like to know who is behind that brand. Even if it's a family business, who is that family? And what are the values of the brand? We do care about that. But I understand that as part of the exploration of shopping, because we want to understand why is that brand telling this. Maybe it's because the way it was created, or because of the founder, or because the solution they are helping in society. So yeah, the values are very important, and we want to know the story behind. So the storytelling is really crucial. It is.
Okay, well, I'm fascinated by the storytelling about your own life. This is a multifaceted topic. So, sounds like kind of
Yes,
a race.
because Gemma, I know in your personal life you love to run marathons, right? And that seems like a great metaphor for your own mission to change mindsets, products, advertising messages, and more. So, as you lead the charge during these past 22 years, have brands improved? Are we getting closer to the finish line?
Um,
Yeah.
no,
No,
Oh,
not
no.
no yet. Thank you. Yes, we're Jacqueline. With Jackie, we're not getting. We're not getting closer to the finish line yet, but we are running in a good pace, and we're actually going through the wall, which is when you run a marathon, it's at the 32 Ks, you feel like you're going to die and you can run no more, and that's enough. And what's the crazy thing I'm doing? And it's normally the 32 Ks, and it's called the wall. So if you're able to cross the wall, then it's like, okay, it's only 10 Ks more. Come on, Gemma, keep going.
So
You're
you see
there.
hope. You
So
see hope, right?
yes, I'm seeing hope, Paul. Yeah, but it's still a lot to do. We cannot down the word. Do you say down the word in English too? Yeah, you cannot like relax,
Lower your
uh,
guard and relax, right?
lower your yes. So, getting there, Jackie.
nice.
So I have the impression that there are more women studying marketing and advertising than my own major, which is international business. Do you think that's made a difference in your opinion? I still see a lot of pink.
You said
Pink.
PINK. Pink. There is too much pink, Natalie. But you know why? Because still the big brand corporations, the big brand strategists and marketers are men, or at least are ruled through masculine style, and that's not anybody's fault. That's the way it is. So what we have to do is to change it, and detect it, say, okay, that's the problem. Let's change the way we think and the way we make decisions. And ask women, what do you want from my brand? What do you want from the experience? What do you want from the automobile industry? What do you want from the banking industry? What do you want from the travel industry? What is really moving you? And study it, understand that, listen to that. And it's that easy and that difficult at the same time. But that's what we are like claiming in the market. And only 3%, Natalie, 3% of women claim that their favorite color is pink, and we still keep on putting pink in every female product. It's like, come on, we don't like pink.
Well, Gemma, I'm impacted by everything you just said in the first part, which is women are clearly important. And secondly, there's such a difference in the patterns of shopping between men and women, both offline and online. And since many of our listeners and viewers, in the case of the video, may not be in Europe, I'd like to spend a little time looking in just a moment at some of the figures about the European e-commerce boom. And I just venture to say that it's really time, when people hear these figures, that marketers should sit up and notice and take notice of the importance of women.
Yes, I totally agree. It sounds good.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to consult my notes here, but this is from Statista.com. These are very recent figures. According to them, the European e-commerce market will continue to grow very quickly, with revenues getting up to the $1 trillion mark by 2027. So that's our first point. This is also something that I think is very, very significant. The e-commerce user penetration here in Europe exceeds 60% in the most mature e-commerce markets. And then finally, EU companies generate roughly a fifth of their revenues already from online sales channels. And the leader is also very surprising. You see, I'm wearing green. You know, I do have Irish heritage. And it's Ireland, where 40% of the sales in that country come from online. So, but across the continent, it's generally a fifth of the total sales, and that means 20%. As I understand it, here in Spain, we're seeing a similar e-commerce explosion. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Well, what is happening, at least what came out from the research, is that yes, the online experience is occupying more and more time, even in young people. Like young generations are the ones who are really being the heavy users. One data that really impressed us is that all ages, we like the online experience, but we want to combine it with the physical experience. So I would say that the online experience is growing, but and I would say that this is one of the peculiar and specific character of Europe, that we love the cities, the downtown, the old part of the cities. We like walking. We like it's not a mall civilization. It's more a downtown and a pedestrian city. So we want to keep that. That means the physical experience, but we want to shop online. So I would really make a point on this insight and really open an eye on that, because we are every day more shopping online, but we want the physical experience too. I would say that challenge that for brands and for business to really explore it.
It's a peculiar evolution, as you say, and it has a very peculiar name, doesn't it? Because I saw that in your study, phygital, so physical and digital. And you're kind of saying that in Europe, you have to have a good cappuccino in the process, right? You know, you're downtown, you're having your cappuccino with your friends, but then the digital is very important, right?
And I would say really, I mean, you are the American and Natalie too of the debate now, but I would say that that's a big difference between European way of living and North American way of living. And we like the online experience, but we want to go downtown, get the cappuccino, maybe window shopping, and then shop online. So that's the way we are. Of course, we can change. The pandemic changed us 360 degrees, so we can change the behavior. But I wouldn't miss that point, because that really connects with us. I touch my heart when I say that connects with us. So if we as brands are able to really explore the physical and the digital experience, we'll gain them in the positive way.
Yeah, Gemma, I was gonna ask you that also. What should be the good practices for brands in their e-commerce campaigns to women? I think you already answered that.
Or maybe in terms of the online experience, right? Like
exactly.
the details of the e-commerce experience, right?
In terms of the e-commerce experience, Jackie, I would say a good, honest, authentic brand with real values that they transmit. That when I call to this brand, to the e-commerce, when I WhatsApp with them, when I have a question, there is a human person that answers me and in real time and empathizes with me and understands what do I need. So I want this understanding, empathy, authenticity. I want this. Even shopping online. I'm shopping online, but I want that. Okay. If I call because I need help, I want a human person answering. And it came all in the research. It came all the time. So really, audience, I'm telling you seriously. I'm gonna put a serious face now. We want humans there, men too, but women, it's a must for us. And that's also a challenge. Okay, that's a challenge. Hello, let's challenge life. So we want humans there answering our questions. We want the delivery process to be precise on time. There is a research done that says that we are able to understand even a 3-day delivery, but no more than that. So if there is already that data, like take care of that. No, there are other research that analyze that. We are afraid and at the same time ashamed of being hacked in cyber attacks. Okay, when you give your credit card, when you pay online, there are many frauds, and people get robbed. But it's happening, and that's one of the main triggers or things that stop us from buying online, shopping online. So let's take care of that. Let's be the brave brand that says we are secure. Those are challenges, but that's what we want. We want to feel secure. We want human voices on the other side. We want authenticity. It sounds simple, right? It's a great opportunity for brands.
It seems that women really want to be accompanied also. They want the brand to really be by their side.
Yes.
In terms of values, in terms of the quality and the whole delivery. And then if there's any problem, they're not really interested in like chatbots or AI so much. They're not going to go running to ChatGPT. They want a real person to solve any problem, and they want to make sure that they feel comfortable. That makes a lot of sense. It makes me think of one thing that you always used to say when we did a project together for PlayStation, I think about 10 years ago, that was very important. You said, if it's good for women, it's good for men. And, because these are like core values, and I really resonate with that.
One thing that I love about doing qualitative research is that when you get to the bone, and when you get to the half truth, and then you get the total truth, that's the real insight. And there is something that we don't really say at the first answer, or the first, contact, but we women, men too, but we women, we don't like to give the email because we find it really intrusive. So let's find another way of getting the contact. I don't know which one it is, but or at least ask for the email in the fourth screen, not in the first screen. You know what I mean? Like the first contact, the first approach, the first moment of truth that you have with a brand. Don't ask the email at that point because that's so intrusive.
Would you agree with that, Natalie? Is that like somebody being too pushy at a party or something? Or how would you see that, Natalie?
Yeah, I agree, because a lot of times, like, I only want certain brands that are already my love marks, as we talk about here, to be sending me emails. I don't want emails from a bunch of random things. Maybe I'm just browsing. I don't want to get a bunch of emails that aren't really relevant to me. But as someone from North America who's been living in Barcelona 3 weeks, I would say that I've already adapted to that lifestyle of shopping, like walking around in the more pedestrian friendly city, as you were talking about. So how do e-commerce platforms allow people to have, especially women, their free will walking around shopping in also get them to come online and shop digitally? And what errors should they avoid that may prevent women from shopping through the e-commerce platform?
Good question.
Well, I would say that if you have a lot of budget, you can create a wonderful online experience and an extraordinary online experience too. But if it's not the case, I would say that at least in Europe, in the way we live and in our culture, it actually in the Mediterranean countries that the weather is nice, you like to be outside, the daylight is forever, so you really want to enjoy the city and the outdoors. Let's create pop-up stores, or let's create experiences. Let's create spaces, moments, even corners on a shop. I don't know, on a street market. Create brand experiences that you see the brand on the street, and then you know that you can have it online too. But it's more a matter of being creative than a matter of budget sometimes, no? Okay, when you don't have budget, you have to be creative. Now it comes to my mind, there is a Spanish erotic gadgets brand called Plátano Melón. I don't know if you know that brand name, Plátano Melón. And they only sell online. And there was actually 2 Catalan women entrepreneurs, and the project is really big, and they're going international now. Plátano Melón, they do things really cool in terms of marketing. And their target is Gen Z millennials, but more like, I don't know, 1830, something like that. They only sell online, but once in a time, I don't know, maybe 3 times per year, they create a big pop-up movement, and they were really impressed about how hundreds and thousands of young girls and boys, but mainly girls, they went there, they wanted to touch the products. I mean, they wanted to touch it before buying it, because they were buying it before touching it, no? So, and they realized, oh, really? I mean, the offline experience is so important for them, and we're not aware of that. So, I think that it gives you the opportunity to test that, and they have to combine. I know that I said that before, but I'm gonna keep on saying that, at least in European mindset, because we need sometimes to touch the product, to have the experience, to see somebody else buying it. Like, oh, this woman are like me. It's like a sharing experience in a way.
Sharing and mirroring, yeah. And I think it actually might go beyond Europe, in that you're describing quite well the phygital experience, where we need to have offline brands that offer us more, and part of that is very social and outside of the mall in different ways, very tangible. Thank you very much for the second part, because I think you're offering to our audience and to us many things that are very practical and pragmatic. And I would like to just also remind all of our listeners or viewers that they should also not forget the program notes associated with this episode on our blog. This is Season 5, Episode 5, and you'll find a host of different resources on the blog, including this video once it's published. So now, why don't we take a look at some surprising discoveries you made, Gemma, in our next section, when we think of your study and find out things that we didn't expect to find.
Yes.
Well, I have to tell you guys, my head is spinning. I mean, my neurons are very happy. This is really interesting information. And Jackie, I'm going to turn to you now, because you work every day, day in and day out, with our e-commerce clients. You know what the reality is, and you saw the study. What most surprised you from Gemma's e-commerce and women's study?
Yeah, I think that would be, without a doubt, how women are leading in e-commerce subscriptions services are fully 33% program their purchases. That's crazy for me.
They're programming with subscriptions. Why is that, Gemma? That's coming from female consumers.
Actually, it surprises me too, Jackie. Thanks to that insight, I knew the word subscription that I didn't know that word. Subscription and economy, subscription. As a marketer, it guarantees you a monthly fee. So if you are clever enough to design an experience or a service that can have a monthly fee, that's a subscription too. So as a marketer, it's a way of being financially fit. And as the customer, as a consumer, it's also a commodity, because in things that have a big volume, like, I don't know, water or toilet paper, you know how much are you going to need every month. Some medicines, sometimes you take, I don't know, vitamins or some things that you don't get it from the pharmacy. You get know that you need 1 box per month, and the problem is solved, and somebody's taking care of it, and you know that you're gonna have your vitamin the first day of every month in your post office. No? Pricing, but then when you can't get down to analyze it, it does make sense. Yes.
Yeah, it's also the mental release of thinking about, I have to shop that thing. If I have my subscription, I know it's going to arrive to my home. Like the coffee machine we have in the agency. For example, when I have a subscription, it's like super convenient. Yeah.
I was very surprised to see from Gemma's study was only 10% of consumers are buying from social media, which you would think it would be so much more as everything becomes more digital. So why is that?
Natalie, I was surprised as you are now, and I don't know the why. I have to get the data and in a way believe it, because if you make a research and you combine quantitative and qualitative and read a lot of papers, and you come to that point, it should be more truth than false. So I have to accept it and share it. But I would say that sometimes we say yes when we talk in having a beer with a friend or a coffee at the office, that yes, did you see that, I don't know, popular person or famous saying that they use Nespresso, or they run with Nike shoes, and you may think that you wear Nike because that famous people said that, but the way you decide and the way you really end up buying that is not because Jennifer Lopez is running with Nike. It's because maybe, but the easy answer is say yes. I believe in or maybe the fact that the famous people are brand ambassadors, they make the aspiration and inspiration that we said before, may inspire you to feel like she or like her. But then at the very end, you don't buy that. That is not the point that really helps you to make the decision.
Actually, you're talking about two data points in your study. As Natalie says, on the one hand, only 10% are buying through social media, and then what shocked me truly, with all the money spent on influencers, is what you're saying, Gemma, that influencers, they really don't move the purchase. So maybe, if with your permission, I'd like to boomerang back to Natalie. Do you buy, as like Gen Z, do you buy from social media, or is it maybe part of your customer journey where you get informed, but then, as Gemma was saying earlier, you look for an experience offline, having a coffee with friends, and I don't know, tell us a bit about how you react to social media from your point of view, Natalie. Might be interesting for Gemma.
Yeah. For me, as a Gen Z consumer, I guess, I would say that it's definitely more of a customer journey thing. Like, you see all these things on different social media platforms that all of these influencers are just coming out of everywhere, and you might see like scroll down your page and 10 of them are drinking the same drink and making an ad about it. But that doesn't make me say, oh, I want to go buy that. But maybe I feel like it convinces me more if I see it in the store and I'm able to hold the product and look at it and just feel what it would be like to own it almost before actually making that purchase.
We are not that far away as generation. I mean, we are not that far away because we think that, I think that we also want to have all the journey experience like you said, and we don't put that importance on a famous person because he or she is using the product. So we're not that far away, I would say, as different generations.
Gemma, sorry, I keep stepping on your toes, but it's just because we are having a very interactive session here.
Step on me, Paul. Step on.
Step on me. Both of you are making me think I have to ask this question. Is this a matter of trust that women just don't trust influencers? I mean, they know they're paid a lot of money. I think women are much more pragmatic and they're looking for value. And they're looking for all of the things that were so useful in this session. Also the brand's ethics, its personality being accompanied by them. Go ahead. I'd like to hear your response to that.
I'll say 3 because I don't want to get offline without saying that. And the 3 main things that make us women, and I'm sure that men too, but women for sure, shop online thing is price.
The price, okay.
Online is cheaper than offline normally. Convenience, of course. I mean, they bring that home, so that's convenience. But the third thing, which is really important, is trust. So price, convenience, and trust. And that's it. That's it. So I wouldn't say that it's very different to men, but it really came out from the research that the 3 things that move us to get online and shop are price, convenience, and trust. Wow. And so we have to work on that. We have to work as marketers, in that case, as advertisers, and yes, branding experts. We should work on those 3 values.
Well, let me tell you, I'm really enjoying this session. We're actually coming in for a landing now, but I'm so glad that Natalie, you joined us, and to have Jackie's professional opinion to all of these topics. Maybe we can end looking into the future. And one thing that we're looking at here in the agency and the Innovation Lab is X-commerce, which is buy anytime, anywhere, any channel. And I think women will definitely lead that too. But as you look further into the future, maybe 2030 or into the 2030s, what does e-commerce mean for women, for their future?
I love that question, Paul, because there are 2 things that really even I work on feminine branding, as you said before, and that's my mission, and I'm convinced that there has to be a feminine way of looking at brand, creating experiences. I have never thought about that. And 2 things that came out from the research. One is that e-commerce empowers women. And what does that mean? That means that the fact that I can create my business, my experience, my proposal online gives me, as a woman, gives me the opportunity to be an entrepreneur, to have my own income, to try my startup, because it depends only on having a laptop and on my time. I can do it at night. I can do it wherever I want to. So it doesn't relate to a budget. It's more related to wanting it. Enlightened for me, and nice to be aware of that, because as a woman, entrepreneur, and feminist, and working on that, I never thought about that window that the e-commerce was opening. And the second thing that I like it very much, and actually it's related to what we are doing now, Paul and Natalie and Jack, is that the e-learning puts men and women at the same level on the screen. We all have the same space. We all have the same square, or whatever you say the correct way, with the same window, by the way. No? And what does that mean metaphorically and physically? That on the e-learning experience, we are all equal. It doesn't matter if the one who is speaking now is the CEO, or is the receptionist, or is the delivery guy. So and that also empowers the e-learning. So those two insights were really like glowing for me. Like, oh yes. So
Yes.
yes,
Oh,
yes. It opens. And of course, the e-learning reduces the environment pollution, whatever, many other things, no? But the fact that as a matter of inclusion, it includes us all, because we are all equal in that screen right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a very, very bright future. I thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy international travel schedule, research schedule. I think you've cloned yourself somehow, and to have this wonderful time with you has been absolutely fantastic. And I venture to say that if there are undoubtedly some very fortunate listeners who were paying attention and taking notes on this conversation, that in years ahead, exactly what you're saying, they will find that they have founded their own companies, that they are e-commerce successes, and it may have just started right here. So thank you very much, Gemma.
Thank you very much. Gracias.
Thank you, Gemma.